Hey, everybody, what's going on? My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. Today, I'm going to do a short podcast on how to be successful and ambitious. I'm going to give you some tips on how to climb mountains and overcome obstacles and fight through hurricanes and kill tigers and whatever it is you're trying to do. So, buckle up, seatbelt, get comfortable. We're going to get started on drboycetv.com right now.
Here we are, clan the isms, cataclysm, great. Our people out here struggling, trying to make it in this state. Everybody out here doing it, but we the ones too late. Now family, we the ones who gotta delegate. Get that money in the power, never be fake. Stick to co-sign for 3. What did he say? Create jobs, support our own. Educate the same and buy back your home. Got 3 degrees, triple 10. 3 PhDs, now we on the CNN. DBTV, let's talk about negligence. Ignorance is bliss, but we can turn it to intelligence. Believe none of what you hear, half of what you see. Let's break it down here on Dr. Boyce TV. Here we are.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to drboycetv.com, the home for intelligent Black people. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and I hope you guys are having a good day. It's good to see you. What's up? My name is Corey and Washington Nation and Max Jerome. Do me a favor. I'm going to connect us to Instagram also. My Instagram is The Real Boyce Watkins. And while I do that, shout out the name of your city. Shout out the name of your city, and I'm going to shout it right back. So give me 1 second here. So anyway, so today I'm going to tell you guys why I decided to talk about this topic today, because I was thinking, maybe I can help somebody today. Maybe this is something that can where we can really get over some of those obstacles that exist inside our head that keep us from becoming the person that we want to be. A lot of times you have a God or a goddess inside of you, and you don't know how to reach that. You don't know how to reach the power that lies within. And I'm going to lay out some templates and blueprints for how ambitious people think, how successful people think. For those of you that are struggling, some of y'all may not be, you may be under the age of, say, 30 or 40, and you haven't gone through enough things yet, or maybe you have limitations on what you think you can do, or you're afraid, or whatever the case may be. And I just want to help you. So anyway, do me a favor. Also, give me a yes. Let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if you can hear me. Give me a yes in the chat if you can hear me. And Omaha, Nebraska, Malcolm X's birth city. I see you, sister. Very nice. All right, and I see Montreal, Canada. I got a lot of speaking requests from Canada lately. Don't get me wrong. I know that I have family and people in Canada that love me, and I love y'all too. But it was weird. I got suddenly just a spike, like 4 requests from Canada all in the same week. And also next week I'll be in Detroit speaking with the Black Business League, but the event's totally sold out, so I can't even offer you a chance to come to the event. But I'll come back to Detroit, I promise. But that event is totally, it got sold out within 24 hours or something. So shout out to Dr. Ken Harris, who's pulling that together out in Detroit. So anyway, all right, guys. So let's jump into this. Let's jump into this conversation. I want to also welcome you guys on Instagram. I see you from Boston, United Kingdom. Okay, very nice. We need you in Youngstown. Well, I like Youngstown. Youngstown is where Maurice Claret, I think, is from Youngstown, and they screwed him big time at Ohio State, but he's a great running back. But all right, so let me talk to you guys about something that was just on my mind. So this morning, my daughter was all pumped up and real nervous, and had some crazy dreams because today she's doing a dance competition, and we had a lot of conversations about preparing mentally for this big event. It's a lot of fear, a lot of anxiety, and we have she and I, Tater, that's what I call her. Nickname's Tater. Her real name's Taylor, but I call her Tater, and I'm her bonus dad. So she has a dad, she has me as a bonus dad, and I'm happy to be a bonus dad. It's a complete blessing to get a chance to raise a Black child. And we were talking about what it means to be successful and to be prepared. It's a matter of really, really being conscious about the mindset that you have. And so we talked about things like breathing exercises. We talked about visualization, things like that. And that led me to do a little research and just to confirm some of the things that I've tried through the years when it came to being successful, or when it came to overcoming obstacles, or when it came to continuing to move forward, even when you feel like it's not going to work. I remember 1999. I remember, having my whole life fall apart, basically. I remember being in a situation where I'd kind of been wronged by this woman that I loved, or at least I felt like I was wronged. I mean, maybe maybe it was justified. I have no idea, but my heart was broken. My money was flat. I had no money. I had to leave my apartment in the middle of the night because I couldn't pay the rent. And all I had enough money to rent a van for one day. And in this van, I packed everything I owned in the middle of the night. And it was so packed up that my basketball was on the dashboard. I had to drive 400 miles with my basketball on the dashboard because I didn't want to get rid of my basketball. Well, anyway, that was a tough time, and I remember thinking about that as kind of like the lowest point in my life, the hardest time in my life. Just that time where you feel like even when you're trying your best, things are not coming together the way they're supposed to. You see, and that was really, when I think about it, those were the experiences that really taught me some basic things about how life just isn't fair. Even when you think it should be fair, it ain't fair. Even when you want it to be fair, it ain't fair. Even when you complain about it not being fair, it's not going to be fair. And nobody cares that it's not fair for you. Nobody really cares that much, especially not white people. That's why I kind of, I just kind of feel bad when we think that telling white people how hard things are for us is going to make life better. I don't think that's going to work. I just don't believe that's going to work. In fact, I was thinking about how in the State of the Union address, Joe Biden said, fund the police. Did anybody catch that? Anybody see what he said, fund the police? And I just mentioned, I said, you do know what happened last time Biden was screaming, fund the police, right? You do know that. You do know how many of y'all know what happens? How many of y'all remember the war on drugs in the early 90s where Joe Biden was running around screaming, fund the police? He didn't say those exact words, but that's basically what he did. He gave, I think he raised, I want to say it was $10 billion to put 100,000 police on the street. It was, he built prisons all throughout the United States, and they started giving super long prison sentences, particularly to Black people. And so the thing that's interesting is, this idea that we believe somebody can just change and that that the leopard's going to change his stripes or his spots or whatever the hell it is. It's ironic to me because I'm sitting there thinking your black ass ain't Ukrainian. You ain't Ukrainian, right? So when they're going out of their way to take care of the Ukrainians, the real Holocaust, the real suffering in this country has occurred with Black people, and that hasn't even been acknowledged. It's barely been acknowledged. There's barely even been an apology. There should be reparations for this. Many of you, how many of you, give me a yes or no, give me a yes or no. How many of you have a loved one who has gone to prison as a result of some of those Biden, Clinton crack laws? Give me a yes or no. How many of you have gone to prison as a result of, or either you or somebody you love has gotten incarcerated over these drug laws? So I bring that up just to kind of say that, that it's important for us to remember that you're Black. And when you're Black, I think that this means you have to have a double dose of ambition and mental toughness. And some of these rules I'm going to mention on success, this is not just how to be successful as a human being. This is how to be successful when you're Black. Everything I do, I'm sorry. I apologize to the white people on the platform or the Latino people or anybody else who feels uninvited. You're not uninvited. You're welcome to come back anytime you want. But in this space, I talk about Black people. We talk about Black stuff, man. That's all I got time for. After I solve all the Black problems, then I'll get around to saving everybody else. But I'm Black first, 100% B1. That's what we do. That's what we believe. That's how we operate. That's how we roll, period. No apologies whatsoever at all. Now, with that being said, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up if you haven't done it yet. Let me jump into some of these rules of success and ambition that may help you. I actually do have a whole life class. If you want to go take a look at it, it's on boycewatkins.com, and literally it's called Black Keys to Greatness. And I documented everything that I do to be successful to the point that I'm at. Like one of the things I can tell you is let me just go down the list and I'll just kind of reference it as I go down the list. I don't want to take too much of your time. So let me just hop into it. Number one, you can't be afraid. You can't let fear be the driving factor behind your decisions. When you take a risk is connected to reward. This is an investing concept. You guys know I have a PhD in finance. I talk about stocks all the time. And there is a universal connection between risk and reward. So that means if you take more risk, you're going to get more reward, but you have to be able to stomach the risk. If you take less risk, you get less reward. So a lot of people live like this. They live on this weird seesaw where they take very little risk and they expect all the rewards. Well, you can't really do that. If you're letting fear be the driving factor in all your risk-based decisions, then you will probably never really achieve very much in your life. You have to find a way to pocket that fear, put that fear in its proper place. A lot of us have a fear of failure. And so having some way that you can actually go through the process of processing the fear or processing the potential loss in a way where you win no matter what. then, that's how you actually can move forward and not really be afraid. For some people, it's a spiritual thing. For some people, it's just it's a thing where they just understand. Either I win or I learn, right? And that's really important to understand. And I can tell you, throughout most of my life and everything I've done, I've had to operate with a lot of challenges and threats and mistakes and issues or whatever. And I remember having to kind of process all this in advance in a certain way, where you can come back and tell me damn near anything that is bad, negative, or crazy or whatever. And most of the time, after I process it for a minute, the conclusion will be, okay, well, let's just dig back in and keep going. Let's dig back in and keep going. But Dr. Boyce, somebody's out here talking dirt on you, throwing dirt on your name. Okay, thank you. Let's just keep it going. Dr. Boyce, this bad thing might happen if you keep doing that. Yeah, okay, well, let's process and keep going. With Dr. Boyce, you keep talking bad about the jab, then they're going to come get you, Dr. Boyce. Oh, okay. All right. Thought about it. Okay, let's keep going. So the idea at the end of the day is you have to have some way to process risk. If you operate based on fear, then you probably won't win. So find a way to deal with your fear. A lot of Black businesses don't get started. When they studied entrepreneurs, a woman named Monica Mehta, who's an expert in entrepreneurship, she's an Indian woman, but she called me and asked me, she said, I think part of the reason that African Americans don't start businesses, she said the data was crazy. She said Black people just don't start businesses very often. Now that's kind of changing. But back then, this is about 12 years ago, and she concluded that it could have to do with the fact that traumatized people tend to allow fear to stop them, right? Because you've been traumatized, and most of us have been traumatized a lot. So when we are afraid, we just don't move, or we don't do anything, or we sit still, right? But that was a survival mechanism during slavery, but we're not slaves anymore, okay? So it's time for you to be free. So it's time for you to not allow fear to drive your decision-making. All right, number 2, you got to avoid groupthink. This is what the scientists say in terms of being creative and innovative and courageous. You can't you can't allow yourself to join the sheeple all the time. You got to find a way to disconnect so you can sort of see things from your own unique perspective. You saw this happen during the pandemic. Everybody thought that because millions of people are thinking the same way, that must be the correct way to see things. And no, independent thinkers, I believe during the pandemic, independent thinkers actually won. And that's not just true during the pandemic. It's really true in general. I can say during most of my life, I never really got involved in a lot of groups. I'll support a group, but I'm not necessarily one to be in the group. Right. And so it doesn't mean I think anything negative about what other people choose to do, but there are a lot of cases where I remember being a young Black male and seeing things other young Black men did. Like a lot of my friends used to drink a lot. I got by myself and I said, I don't really think I want to drink, because a lot of guys go to the club, they get drunk, they end up killing somebody, and they go to prison. I don't want that to happen to me, so I'm not messing with liquor. A lot of guys used to get high and smoke all the time. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I'm not judging that, but there are studies that say that slows your brain down. And so when your brain is altered and you're not alert, you're not able to respond to threats, well, then that makes you vulnerable to your adversary. You can't be a soldier and be high all the time. It just does not work well for you. Okay. I remember just seeing choices men made when it came to women, or other choices other people made when it came to education. And I just had to be by myself to say, I don't think I want to live like that, right? So if you get caught up in doing what everybody else is doing, you're going to get what everybody else is getting. And the challenge that you have as Black people is that there are a lot of people in your community who are not winning, who don't know how to win, who ain't never seen a winner, who can't even visualize winning, don't even know what winning looks like. They define winning, and they think they're winning when they're actually losing. They'll literally scream, I won, and they really took a big loss. So in order for you to figure out what winning looks like, you got to really get by yourself and figure that out. And then what that does is when you're away from the pack, you're able to see things from a more honest and unique perspective. And in fact, actually, even with the internet, I will jump in the internet, but I'm not of the internet. The internet is full of a bunch of 45-year-old teenagers. It's full of people throwing rocks back and forth at each other and beefing and cussing each other out and acting a damn fool. I'll get on the internet to talk to you, but I don't watch. I've had times where I have been viciously attacked on the internet by certain people, and people will say, did you see that video where so-and-so said this about you, that about? I'm like, no, I never see it. I never see it. There was a guy named Kwame Brown who did probably 15 videos about me and my wife. I did not watch 1 minute of one video because I said there's no benefit to me even connecting with any of that. I do not care. Whatever he feels is what he feels. God bless him. It don't interest me because I've got stuff I got to do over here. Right. So I encourage you to figure out what space you want to operate in and what spaces you want to elevate above, and make sure you are consistent with that. And don't worry about what the rest of the world is doing, because following other people or trying to fit in with other people is a great way for you to fail. Okay. So don't try to fit in. Be a little bit of an outcast. I've always been an outcast my whole life. When I was a kid, I thought it was a liability. When I became a grown man, it became a huge asset. People follow me. I don't follow people. Typically, I follow great men like I might follow Dr. Claude Anderson. I follow OGs like Dr. George C. Frazier. I follow men like Kenny Gamble. I follow men like Louis Farrakhan, right? In terms of drawing inspiration. I follow Malcolm X. I pay attention to Muhammad Ali. That's what I follow. I don't follow somebody who's like making internet videos on YouTube, or somebody who's just, out here doing something that doesn't reflect the energy that I want to carry, right? Because none of us is the same person all the time. Sometimes you can be elevated and sometimes you can be petty, and you always want to bring your best self to the party whenever you're trying to accomplish something. The third thing that they say you should do if you want to be successful is you have to visualize your success. When you visualize success, that allows you to see it much better. So you want to practice, it's sort of closing your eyes, meditation, visualizing yourself winning, visualizing yourself succeeding. Always feed yourself positive words about yourself. Never feed negative words to yourself about yourself, because your subconscious mind, my wife has a PhD. She's an expert on the subconscious mind. What she says that your brain doesn't know the difference between pretend and non-pretend. Let me say that again. She says that your brain does not understand the difference between the fake and the real. So if you tell your brain enough fake stuff, your brain will interpret that as real. And that's extremely important to understand, because that's something that you can share with people who tell you, oh, well, music, that ain't nothing but entertainment. Well, that wasn't nothing but a movie. Who cares what the kids watch? That ain't nothing but a movie. No, your brain doesn't know pretend, right? So whatever you visualize, whatever you bring into your mind, whatever you say about yourself to yourself should be extremely positive all the time, every day, at all times. So a lot of times what really helps me walk through the storm and through the clouds is I'm constantly feeding myself. It's like eating your vegetables, eating your spinach every day, like Popeye eating his spinach, right? I'm always eating my spinach with positive messages about myself and what I can do and what my goal is. That's how you succeed. Number 4, let's see. Wait, let me read. Oh, you got to manage your thoughts. So that's connected to visualization. So managing your thoughts, not feeding positive, negative thoughts to yourself. So that's actually connected to visualization. So I'm going to go ahead and skip that. Number 5, stop waiting for the perfect time for you to move forward. Ain't nobody out here in this game perfect. You're trying to start that business. You're trying to go write that book. You're trying to go make that move, quit that job, whatever it is. Just know there's never really a perfect time. You're never going to feel perfect. You're never going to feel like, okay, this is exactly the right time for this to happen. And what will happen is, if you're not careful, if you're not conscious and aware, a lot of time will go by, and then your window of opportunity will have shut, and you won't be able to go and do the thing that you've been sitting on and thinking about doing for the last 10 years. So whatever it is you want to do, maybe this weekend, a good exercise is to find that thing you've been procrastinating on and sit down and make that your one thing. Put everything else aside. Just say, this is the one thing I'm going to do, and I'm going to put all my energy into this one thing, and that's it, right? So whatever that one thing is, stop waiting for the perfect time. The perfect time never comes. Whenever I do anything new, typically I almost always never feel like I'm completely ready to make that move or make that transition. Change is always uncomfortable until it becomes comfortable, until it becomes the new norm. So it takes usually about at least 30 days to adjust to a new reality or a new set of habits or a new approach to things. So I want to encourage you to just sort of embrace that change. Find that one thing you want to change and just, kind of go ahead and make that move. Okay. All right. Do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Also, if you go to boycewatkins.com, you can take a look at some of the stuff we have going on in the Black Business School. This weekend, shout out to Lene Javette. She's actually doing the Black Power Her Business Conference right now. All the speakers, she got 20 expert speakers that are all women. They're all talking about business. Now, that's totally sold out, so that's kind of done. That's kind of happening. But there'll be other stuff kind of coming up pretty soon. So if you want to know, just go to boycewatkins.com, or you can join my stock market investing class, whatever it is you want to do. We're always here and happy to serve you in the Black Business School, and we have really great people that can help you. So feel free to take a look. All right. The last thing on the list is persistence. You would be absolutely stunned to understand how significant the idea of simply not giving up is when it comes to being great or being successful at anything. Most people who are successful are simply regular people who just didn't stop. When you stop, obviously you've given yourself 0% chance of succeeding. When you keep going, you've always got a chance. If you never give up, you never lose. And I can just tell you that if you can get that in your DNA, I will never stop. I will just keep trying. I'll just keep going forever. You're going to succeed at a lot of things. You're going to accomplish a lot in your life. I remember working on my PhD and how hard it was. I failed 20 times in different stages. I'm not going to tell you all the stories because they were brutal. They were so brutal. But I just kind of kept going. I just got to the point where I said, I'm not going to stop until I am done, until I get this thing finished. And when I walked across the stage and I found out that I was the only Black African-American on the planet to get a PhD in finance that year in 2002, there was no other Black man or Black woman anywhere on earth that I could find who got that degree that year. Now, it definitely not from any American university. I'm still looking for anybody that graduated that year. And when I found that out, it helped me understand, okay, this is why it was so hard. There was a lot of racism. It was extremely difficult. I was sitting next to some of the smartest students from around the world, from Russia and China and everything else. I mean, they were just on another level. It was not like what we do in American schools. It's just another level of insanity in terms of being obsessed with achieving the goal. And that's where I learned the power of obsession. If you're obsessed with achieving the goal, then you'll usually achieve the goal. So ultimately, what I would say to you is find those things that matter to you and choose those things in your life where you just are not ever going to give up. And I guarantee you that you will find success. You may not find exactly what you're looking for all the time. The world and the universe and God will always give you something a little bit different. A lot of times they're going to give you something a little different from what you expected. They may give you more than what you expected. Maybe they're going to give you less. Maybe they're going to take you to the left when you thought you were going right. But either way, you're going to look back and say, man, what a journey this was. And you're going to be proud of that because you will have seen how sticking to it and being consistent has taken you places that you never would have gone if you had never tried in the first place. Okay. So when I look back at my life, I'm happy because I don't have any regrets. Like I don't look back and say, man, I wish I'd done this different or that. I wish I'd done more of this or more of that. I look back at the challenges and the struggles and I'm so glad I went through them. And I just want you to have that's a similar type of joy in your life. Like I want you to look back at your life and to say, damn it, I did it. Damn it, I'm happy. And I'm doing this video for anybody out there that wants to be ambitious, that wants to accomplish something, and wants to know how ambitious people think. I am not wasting my time talking to people who are not vibrating on that frequency. I'm not interested in talking to people who are here to say stupid things, negative things, self-defeating things, or gossipy things. That does not interest me. I'm really here to encourage you to operate at a higher vibration so you can get all the things that the universe has for you. Okay. All right, guys, I'm out of here. That was my 2 cents for today. That was my thoughts. So that's what I wanted to share. And I hope you have a great life and a great success. And I will pop in every now and then. So feel free to make sure you subscribe to the channel and go to boycewatkins.com if you want to see any of the other stuff we have going on. As you know, we talk about stocks and all that stuff on a regular basis. So if that's your thing, feel free to pop through. All right. Love you. Have a great day. And I'll talk to you soon. Be good. Peace.
Here we are, clan the isms, cataclysm great. Our people out here struggling, trying to make it in this state. Everybody out here doing it, but we the ones who late. Now family, we the ones who gotta delegate. Get that money in the power, never be fake. Stick to cosign for 3. What did he say? Create jobs, support our own. Educate this and buy back your home. Got 3 degrees, triple 10. 3 PhDs, now we on the CNN. DBTV, let's talk about negligence. Ignorance is bliss, but we can turn it to intelligence. Believe none of what you hear, half of what you see. Let's break it down here on Dr. Boyce TV.